Hey guys, Ryan here from Indy Wrestling School, and today we're talking about intergender wrestling in independent wrestling. Coming up. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing below. We put out new videos every single week right here on Indy Wrestling School. So a couple years back, intergender wrestling was this big hot button topic, and it seems like it's died down in the last couple years. So everybody's got a particular stance on it and what it means for wrestling, and some people think it's killing the business, other people think it's pushing it to the new century. There's all these different takes, and all I can do is relay what I've done in the past and what's worked for me. So if you've caught any of the backyard cinema shows that I've been putting out there, one of the things we talked about in our second episode is that we've had intergender wrestling since 2000. My friends' sisters would wrestle with us, and we put belts on them and treated them the same as all of us. They were just wrestlers. And I've kind of followed that path my entire career. Now, for me personally, I'll be totally honest, I kind of suck at promoting women's wrestling. I'm not good at it. It doesn't draw well for me. For whatever reason, I've just never been able to find the audience that comes and pays for the women's matches that I promote. Having said that, there's certainly an audience for them online. Anytime if I announce a women's match, I might not sell any tickets, but when I put that same women's match on YouTube, I'll get 100 times the views of a normal independent match. And I don't know why that is, I just know that that's the case. And if I get, let's say, 100 views for a women's match, I'll get 1,000 views for an intergender match. So that same principle applies with stuff online. Now, I've found that intergender matches, for me personally, have sold a bit better than the women's matches that I've promoted. So I don't know exactly what I'm doing wrong, but when it comes to women's matches, I'm just not a good promoter of it, clearly. So going back to like 2008, which was my second year promoting, we actually put Gabby Gilbert in the main event a number of times. She was challenging Steve Corino and Chris Rockwell for our main championship. In about 2009, we put the World 1 Tag Team titles on Gabby Gilbert, who was known as Roxy Cotton at the time, and Sumi Sakai. It was not advertised as an intergender match. It was literally just one team against another team, and we treated it as a fair competition. And I know some people have a problem with that, and I don't really have an answer for that, other than I was doing what I felt was right at the time. And it's always one of those topics that everybody's got an opinion on. They feel strongly one direction or the other. For me, I've always just treated it as women are competitors just like men are competitors, so if they happen to compete against one another, how is that any different than any other match? And I know people throw the argument out there of, you wouldn't see Brock Lesnar versus Ronda Rousey in the UFC, and you're right, you wouldn't, because the UFC is regulated and pro wrestling, it's a work. Look, there's plenty of movies and TV shows where the women will kill off the guy or beat up the guy, so I don't see why there's any difference when it comes to wrestling. But if you do see a difference, be sure to let me know in the comments below, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Even as recently as the last couple years, I put Erica Lee in the Super 8, which is typically the men's Super 8 tournament. It's never really been called the men's Super 8, but I kind of got a lot of backlash about that too, and I was fully prepared about it, and I stuck to my guns and did it, and in my opinion, her and Darius Carter had the greatest match in the history of the Super 8. So to anybody who had a problem with that, I mean, the proof's right there. You can watch that match, and you can't tell me as a fan you weren't rooting strongly for Erica Lee in that match. And it was just such a great story, and one of my favorite shows I've ever done. So for me, I'm on board with intergender wrestling. Let me know what you think down below. That's all for this week. If you like this video, beat the shit out of the like button, and I'll see you next time right here on Indy Wrestling School.